Want to take the world of the interwebs by storm? Fancy yourself a startup monarch, short on cash, short on confidence? We've got the medicine for you with some advice from a pro.
You kids today don't know how lucky you have it. In our day, the closest we got to tech was the sci-fi hour, or beyond 2000. But nowadays, you're making money out of coding and playing games before you can even drive. So you're all set. You've got the skills, you've dreamt of being the next Zuckerberg or Jobs, you've cleared out a space in your parents' garage, and you're ready for the startup trip. You've even got a good idea. Well done, but now what? Let's face it, a big idea only has one chance to make it. If you don't jump on board soon, you'll have someone else coming over your back getting to the idea first. That's why we're talking to the pros, the guys who braved a startup and cashed in big. WooThemes is a real SA internet success story. So what advice does one of the founders have for starry-eyed young entrepreneurs like you?
South Africa and Cape Town specifically have the ability to build a community like Silicon Valley. So South Africa is definitely has an advantage in terms of mobile, specifically due to the demographic of our kind of broadly technological kind of users and the way they access information and the internet. So yes, I think if we can take that as just one segment, that's definitely something that we should be a leader on. We should use that kind of that unique basis as a competitive advantage to build products and services that have global appeal. So within the greater context of ideas and just how fast technology moves, the kind of immediate reaction is always like you have to act immediately, and there's no better time than now. My experience over the years though has been that you never have to be first to market. You just have to be best to market. In some instances, yes, speed is necessary, and there needs to be somewhat of a land grab initially within market space. But especially in more established ecosystems and markets, I would caution speed and just balance that with like having better quality in terms of the execution.
So you have the idea, but hold up. You're going to need investors. It's the cash that's going to take your idea to the next level, right? Wrong, my lovelies. Wrong.
I think the most important thing with an entrepreneur and a new venture and a new idea is to just get started and to figure out how you can build a version of the product or service that you're hoping to provide to the market and just get that initial traction. Doing that within budget, I love the notion of kind of doing things, creativity comes from within constraints, being able to think outside the box. I think those things are important. And I'm definitely not averse to venture capital, but I think in terms of just taking those first couple of steps, doing that in a way that you can control as an entrepreneur gives you a great advantage to then kind of leverage that in any kind of negotiation you want to have around raising outside funding.
Set your sights high, but don't hold out for that unique idea. Yeah, it's all been done before, and even if your concept doesn't change the human race as we know it, that doesn't mean it won't be a success. Key to this is building examples from local startup success stories. Yes, it isn't as sexy as the rise of Facebook, but their experiences will likely mirror yours, and you can get a great understanding on which direction is best suited to your needs.
We tend to look at the wrong South African companies, as successes at least, and the real successful companies don't tend to kind of get the limelight because they're not necessarily kind of sexy businesses. I think with WooThemes that was always our experience. People both locally and internationally tended to underestimate the sheer size of the business and how successful it is. Because it was a business-to-business kind of solution. Same thing goes for a company like Yuppie Chef. I know, today they might be in vogue and they might be doing really well, but it's been an 8-9 year slog for them. So I think there's so many of those examples of where bootstrap companies have become successful, profitable, and self-sustainable within South Africa.
And here's one last piece of advice before you head off to world domination. Follow your gut. It needs to feel right for it eventually to be right. And don't forget your friends when you're the toast of Silicon Cape.